I really do have to thank football for shaping Gord into the person he's become. Gord, I value your passion, your commitment, determination, support, humor, and I'm truly blessed. We have 2 great kids and a great life. I am honored that you asked me to introduce you tonight, and very proud that you're being recognized by your football family.
Try not to be emotional. First of all, having my wife introduce me was an easy choice. We did meet halfway through my university career, and I was surprised you stayed with me for 30 years. You're beautiful today as the first day we met, and I put you a lot through the first years, but and most women would have left. Actually, a lot of them did, and you stayed. You're right. You knew not to talk to me days before games, and at least the day after if we lost. And playing with the Ottawa Rough Riders in the 1990s, there's quite a few don't talk to Gord days. We didn't do too well as the Riders. I do love you, and I'm glad that you're part of my life. We do have 2 beautiful children here that I know of. It's true. Adriana, she's 18, finished her first year at Carleton University in biology. Even though you chose Carleton, you're still a beautiful, smart young woman. I love that you're independent, self-motivated, and as stubborn as I. You can be charming, especially when you want to borrow the car. I know we battle at times, but that's only because I care, and I want to see the best in you. Anthony, who's my little son, 15 years old, finishing up grade 10. I love that you have such a passion for sport and life. You always dream big, and to me that's such a great quality. I especially love that you see the good in people. Thank God you're smart like your mother. You're a kind soul, and I do love you both. It was funny, when I told my family I was getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, my daughter said to me, "What for?" Well, it was simple. My answer was, "Honey, it sure isn't for academics." I also have to thank my parents for the support over the years. My mother always gave me the car when I was old enough to drive, and she never missed a home game from Pee Wee to the pros. Tom Casagrande, I want to thank you for reviving the alumni from our era. I'd also like to thank the University of Ottawa for allowing me to be honored amongst these great players. Also, congratulations, Lucas. Lucas, where are you? Good job. And also, sorry, I lost my spot. Damn, I was doing it so well. I'd also like to thank Lucas and Kevin for your induction tonight. Well deserved. When I was 12 years old, I asked my father if I could play football. And he said, "Not an issue. There's your bike. Get on it. Make your way to practice." So off I went and my journey began. I played my first year in 1977 for the Bell Warriors and then with the Ottawa Trojans, which was the provincial team at the time. It was there I started to realize I had some potential for this ultimate team game called football. My love and passion turned into a job for me. I do believe this game of football is one of the toughest jobs you can have in life. If you can succeed in this great game, I believe life will be easier. Yes, football is what I do, it's not who I am. Wow. It's 30 years ago, man. Yeah. It was a tough job, a very tough job, especially mentally. You could be fired at any times. How many jobs in life are there where every day you go around and everything you do is filmed and analyzed on a daily basis? You spend hours on the field, and these days, not in my days, you spend hours training each day. You're tested on a daily basis, and you must compete. I tried out for the Ottawa Sooners as an underage player, where Jim Daly cut me. That's our head coach. Who knew that's where our love and hate relationship would begin? Later, I was recruited by universities and spoke to many head coaches. My shortest recruiting was with Queen's University. Coach Hargrave sat me down, and one of the first questions he asked, he said, "What were your high school grades?" At that time, it was a stellar 65%. He replied to me, "I wish you luck, son. We only recruit players that are 75% or better." So from that day, I learned to channel my hate towards Queen's University. And I made every game against them a special one. And by the way, who the hell wants to wear a yellow Bumblebee uniform? I don't get it. So in 1985, 6'4", weighing all of 189 pounds, my playing days began at the University of Ottawa. And as you can see, I was never one to hit the gym. We didn't have off-season training programs as you do today. Training camp was my way of getting into shape. I would prepare for training camp by cutting on my alcohol consumption. The number of cigarettes I would smoke before camp, and maybe, just maybe, I'd do a couple 5K runs to get the lactic acid out of my legs. True story, man, true story. But I was never one to shy away from a challenge, and on my first day of training camp, after morning testing, I was standing in line getting lunch, and I was asked by another linebacker what position I played. I replied, linebacker. He replied to me, "You're too small to play linebacker. You should be big like me." He was all conference, 230 pounds, 6'4". My reply to him was, "Okay, thanks, man." So that afternoon we had one-on-ones. Up first, tackling. So me thinking, you're the best linebacker, let's do this. So I counted him out. He was standing in number 4, I went to number 4. Let's see where I stand. I literally knocked the snot out of this guy. I got up, I adjusted my helmet, I looked at him, his eyes were sizes of toonies. But me being me, maybe it was just lucky. I counted him out again. He was at 7. I look up, oh my God, he's at 8. So I go to 8. I look up again, he's at 6. Yep, he was ducking me. You know, you don't need to be big like Mike. You need to play with heart, and you need to play without fear. Much like real life, I think you battle two people, the person in front of you and the person inside you. Once you conquer that person inside you, the person across from you just doesn't matter. I played that way throughout my career. The person in front of me never mattered because I was able to conquer the fear inside me. And I never went into a game thinking I wasn't the best or we were not going to be successful today. I played that way until 1995 when injuries conquered me, and once again, Jim Daly cut me. Once again, true story. But I do need to talk about Jim Daly, my coach. We did have a love-hate relationship, but one thing, we always had respect for each other. And Terry, Jeff, you can attest to this, it was comical at times. My first year, 91 tackles, 7 games. With the playoff, I think it was close to 100. And me being me, and you have to remember back in the 80s, athletes weren't allowed to accept money or support from the school. The only free stuff we got was a few weeks on our hard mattress in residence and a few meals during training camp, and any t-shirt or pair of socks you can steal from the training guy. Or Norm, our equipment guy. I would do things to Jim Daly what's that? Norm. I would do things to Jim Daly because he was just so excitable and it was just so easy to do. I think it was 3 days before my second year in training camp, I called Jim up and I said, we need to meet. I go into his office and there he was drinking his 15th espresso, all wired up, watching film. It's only 10 a.m. I looked at him, I sat down, I said, Jim, I got some bad news. I don't think I can play this year. My parents don't have the money. I don't have the money to pay for school. Jim's like, Gord, not a problem. I got you covered. He reaches over into the desk and me thinking, wow, I'm gonna get this big stack of cash. Yeah, he pulled the paperwork out for an OSAP loan. It was like he knew I was coming. You know. He then proceeded to go over to the depth chart and tell me which player was going to take my place this year. Most of them looked like Tarzan and played like Jane, but he was always excited to find someone to fill my position. I know I wasn't the easiest person to coach, but I do believe to be successful, you must play with confidence. Never in my life have I ever said to myself I wanted to be mediocre today. I went to every game thinking this way, and thinking we were great and we were going to play like champions. I don't think this way. If you don't think this way, I believe you'll never be successful, whether it is in sport or in life. For that, I'd like to thank my coaches, Chris Thompson and Randy Fournier. They were my positional coaches. But I also like to thank the support staff this year. Gary Greenberg, Dr. Gary Greenberg, I saw him here earlier. Gunner, Dave Barry, the staff of trainers, Norton Champagne, by the way, thanks for all the socks and t-shirts that I stole over the year. Even down to Danny Deacon and Randy, who are our ball boys. But most of all, I'd like to thank the players I played with. Those were the guys that opened holes for me to blitz and force players back to me so I could knock the living snot out of them. Terry Sheehan, Justin Malloy, you kept me in check and you kept Daly off my ass. Thank you. I especially want to thank Becky, Jeff Sims, in the back there. You always try to cut my grass when we're out in the pub at night when I'm trying to find a date. You're a true friend. But seriously, from your new recruits and your returning players, remember, to be a champion, you have to think like one. You must always have a positive mindset. This doesn't mean that you do not fail, because you will. But what you do is when you do fail, you turn a negative into that positive. Remember, once a GG, you're always a GG. You're a family. From a speech I heard from Denzel Washington, remember, keep striving. Fall down 7 times to get up 8. Without commitment, you will never start. But most importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. Ease is the greatest threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work. And I'm going to throw in there just a little hashtag horsepower. Thank you once again. This is an honor and much appreciated.